So we are so happy that you all are here today. We will be talking about our summer school learning experience and going through the curriculum and all of the extracurricular activities. So thank you for being here today. As a warm opening, you'll notice that this language is throughout the lesson plan. So as a warm opening, which is an SEL practice, we're gonna play the name game. So think of one word adjective that describes an aspect of your personality, and bonus points if it could be a little bit of like an alliteration, or just if your name starts with an A, get an adjective that starts with an A. So I am adventurous Arlena. Who are you? And go ahead and drop it in the chat. Let's see. Who do we have here today with us? Jolly Jenny, Super Surge. I love that. Joyous Joy, that's an easy one, right? Not normal Norma. Glad Gracie, Brilliant Billy, Quiet Q, Happy Hiram, Maternal Monsoon, okay, Monson, Darling Drew, Bubbly Brooke, Icy Isadora, Chemist Charles, love that, Talented Treva, Elegant Ever, Kinetic Kevin, Loving Letty. We have some fantastic people in here today. I love Sassy Shanita. I'm here for it. Encourage Ever, Positive Pam, Terrific Tamika, Mary Michael. Love seeing this. This is something that you can do with your students, and you'll notice that it is in one of the warm openings that we'll dive into a little bit later. Thank you all for being here today. So summer learning is going to look a little bit differently this year. As you know, we don't have SSI happening, and really we've had a pretty tough and long year. And summer is going to be really used as a time for students to reestablish their relationship with learning. And so you'll see some of the key points that you'll be able to focus on a little bit later today. But there will be some breakfast and lunch, some SEL connections, physical activity, reflective journaling, and affirmations. There will be opportunities for small group learning, extracurricular activities, and we are really going to dive into something that is probably new to you all because it was new to me just a few months ago. It's called novel engineering. And so a few months ago, John Neely Bryan pitched the idea to be an novel engineering choice school to OTI. And I happened to be in that space where they were pitching the idea, and it just sounded like a phenomenal thing to try this summer as we again reestablish students' relationship with school and try to approach school in a different way. So I'm happy and proud to pass it off and make sure you mute your mics, y'all. We're getting a little bit of feedback. I'm proud to pass it on to Miss AP Nafia Hamilton from John Neely Bryan, who's had extensive experience in novel engineering. All right.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to spend this time with you today as we will unpack novel engineering. We will start by grounding ourselves in this video so that we hear what the entire process, how it works, and then how you will launch it with students in your summer school classrooms.
Inspired by kids and grounded in research, novel engineering is of the literature as they brainstorm solutions. Next, they design solutions. They take those ideas and criteria and develop them into functioning prototypes, making design decisions based on their past discussions. After the students have begun building, they get feedback to help improve their designs. Feedback comes from their peers after mid-design shareouts and from testing to confirm their solutions meet their selected design criteria and are functional. Students incorporate this feedback to improve design. Through iteration, students change their designs to make them better. Finally, student groups share their solution and design process. They get to show off their prototype that stems from original student ideas. Using literature as a source for design activities provides students the opportunity to organically move through the engineering design process as they identify engineering problems and recognize design constraints using the evidence from the text, which reinforces their literacy skills. Novel engineering is a multidisciplinary approach that allows students to engage in engineering and literacy in an innovative and symbiotic way that enhances the student experience in both subjects. If you're interested in a more detailed video walkthrough of this activity arc, with examples from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsberg, or other videos about novel engineering, and information about bringing novel engineering into your classroom, that and more is available at novelengineering.org.
Perfect. So what you guys just heard is what we are going to do today. So you are getting ready to experience novel engineering as a learner. Now, I need you to stay with me because we are going to go fast-paced, rapid fire, as I like to call it. This is so that you get to experience the process, but know that when you do it this summer with your students, you are going to have more time for each step. Arlena and team has done a great job of creating a scope and sequence that gives you the time to do this with your students. All right, so stay with me. We are going fast. You will need a couple of things. The first thing you will need is this bit.ly. So I need everyone to go to bit.ly/NEP and then P for packet. Give me a thumbs up once you are there. Thank you. I see a couple of thumbs. Okay, so now, and then if you don't get the bit.ly now, it's going to be on every slide, but you do need to have access to it. You will also need something to write with and something to write on because you are going to experience it as a learner today. As we jump into step 1, which is identifying the problem, we're going to read a novel together today called Pop's Bridge. While we're reading the novel, you're going to do a couple of things. And one of the main things that you are going to do today is empathy. You are going to learn how to empathize with characters in the book. Now, we all have, as adults, the skill to empathize. This is something we are going to teach students. And so on our next slide, you will see that empathy really, in context to novel engineering, is teaching the students how to infer. They're going to use evidence of the text to find a problem in the novel. Now remember, there's no pre-prescribing problems for students. That's what empathy is all about. They are going to notice when a character is hurting, and they're going to create a solution to help solve their problem. To do that, they're going to use evidence from the text to decide what are characters saying, doing, feeling, and thinking in the text that lets them know they have a problem. No two students may or may not have the same problem. And if they don't, that is okay. So today, as we go to our next slide, you are going to be a detective. You are looking for clues, which is page 1 of the packet. You can type on it, or you can write with the paper or pens. You're looking for a character, because we're going to be introduced to characters as we read the novel, whose problem you want to solve. You're going to find evidence. What is the character saying? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What are they feeling to let me know this is a problem for them? I will call on you, and I will ask some brave volunteers to share their evidence that they found. I have some wonderful teachers here from J&B and all over Dallas ISD. So I know you will be ready to share and to be fully in the process. So get your magnifying glasses out, guys. It is time for us to be reading detectives. We're going to listen to our novel together. We won't go through the whole novel. We will only go through about 7 minutes. All right, guys, get ready.
As we read our story, let's think about the essential question: why is everyone's role on a project important? My pup is building the Golden Gate Bridge. Almost every day after school, Charlie, Shu, and I go to Fort Point and watch. The bridge will stretch across the bay from San Francisco to Marin. People said this bridge couldn't be built. Some call it the Impossible Bridge. They say the bay is too deep, the currents too strong, the winds blowing in from the ocean too fierce. But I know my pop can do it. Whenever I say he's building the bridge, Mom laughs. There's a crew of more than 1,000 men working on that bridge, Robert, including Charlie's dad, she reminds me. I know that, but I just shrug. To me, it's Pop's bridge. Pop's a high iron man, balancing on the slatted catwalks, spinning and bending the cables. He climbs so high that sometimes clouds come down around his shoulders. When the fog rolls in, he disappears completely. That's why the high iron men are called skywalkers. Charlie's dad is a painter. The painters start work long before the bridge is even finished. My pop says if it weren't for them, the bridge would rust away. But I think he's just saying that to be nice. The skywalkers have the most important job of all. At Fort Point, I look for Pop through the binoculars Mom lends me. The workers look alike in their overalls and swabby hats, but I can always find my Pop because of the red kerchief he ties at his throat. It's our own scarlet signal. I don't worry much about him on days when the sun sparkles on the water, when sailboats skim below. It's so beautiful, I can forget that it's dangerous, too. But when the wind blows through the Golden Gate, the men cling to the girders like caterpillars on a branch. On foggy days, my hands sweat on the binoculars. Where is he? When I find him, I try not to look away, as though the force of my eyes can keep him from falling. At my house, Charlie and I work on a jigsaw puzzle Mom bought us. When it's done, it will show how an artist thinks the bridge will look. Charlie and I work on the puzzle most every day. Bending over it, I feel like I'm building the real thing, along with Pop. I'm a Skywalker, too. We're almost done, Charlie says. I wonder which of us will put in the last piece. I shrug, but what he says makes me think. My Pop built that bridge. He should set the last puzzle piece in place. That's only fair, even though Charlie might think his dad should do it. When Charlie isn't looking, I slip one of the pieces into my pocket. Later, I hide it in my room. I'm saving it for Pop. The Impossible Bridge is nearly finished. One evening, Mom and Pop and I walk down to Fort Point. The bridge hangs between stars and sea. It's like a giant harp, my Pop says. A harp for the angels to play. I look up at him, and I can tell this wasn't just a job to my Pop. He loves the bridge. In San Francisco, there is great excitement. Everyone is waiting for opening day. Charlie and I have watched nearly every bit of the bridge go up. We saw the two spans come together from opposite directions. We saw them meet. We saw the roadway go in. And my Pop did it. No one can be as proud as I am. Not even Charlie. After all, my dad is a Skywalker. And then one day, something terrible happens. Charlie and I are watching as the scaffolding pulls away from the bridge. There's a noise like a train wreck as the scaffolding crashes down into the safety net. The net tears loose, and men go with it into the swirling tide. I can't breathe. I can't think. But then I look hard through the binoculars and see Pop, still on the bridge, his red kerchief whipping. Pop, I whisper in relief. Beside me, Charlie is screaming, "Where's my dad? Where's my dad?" We had seen him working close to that scaffolding. I can't see him now. We'll find him, I promise. We have to. I sweep the binoculars up and down the bridge's cables, looking at every painter hanging high on his Jacob's ladder or swinging in a bosun's chair, like a knot on a rope. "Be there, Mr. Shoe," I plead, and then spot him. "Over by that cross girder," I yell. Charlie fumbles for the binoculars. I help him. He looks where I point. "He's there. He's safe," Charlie gasps. The next day, we find out that only 2 of the 12 men in the water were saved. I think and think about that day. At night, half asleep, I see the bridge shake. I hear the crash. One of those men in the water could have been Pop. Or Charlie's dad. I finally understand, and I feel ashamed. Equal work, equal danger, for skywalkers and for painters. The work...
All right, guys. So now that we have read our novel and we're truly reading detectives, we get to join a discussion together. And here's what you will do with your students. And so after reading the novel, and you can even do it while you're reading the novel, you are going to allow the students to identify their problems or challenges that they identified as they empathized with the characters. So I am going to ask for one brave volunteer to unmute themselves and share which problem they found during the novel. We were introduced to 4 characters. We had Charlie Shoe, Pop, Mr. Shoe, and then Pop's son. What problems or challenges did you identify? We have 300 people on this call, and we are educators. We are not shy. JMB, I will call on you.
The things. Hello, guys. This is Miss Aragon from JMB. One of the problems that I could identify was the scaffold breaking.
Thank you so much, Miss Aragon. And then how did the characters so far deal with that? How did they deal with the problem?
Hi, this is Benjamin Ramirez. They felt afraid, surprised, and even ashamed.
Thank you. They felt afraid, surprised, or ashamed. Thank you so much, Mr. Ramirez. Can I get another brave volunteer to share the problem or challenge they identified that may be different from Ms. Aragon, which is the scaffold breaking?
Hello, this is Kimberly Garcia. I recognize a problem. Pop's son felt that his pop had the most important job.
Thank you. And how did the son deal with that? How did he deal with that feeling of thinking my father has the better job? What realization did he have?
At first, he was very prideful, but once he realized that his friend's father was in jeopardy, he started to feel bad and feel ashamed of thinking that his dad was better than the other.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kimberly, and thank you so much, Drew. Okay, so we have identified 2 problems as a group. We said the scaffold breaking was one of them, and that so far the characters were dealing with that by being a little afraid or being surprised. And then our second challenge that we identified as the group was Pop's son felt that his father's job was better than all the others, and he was dealing with it being very prideful. And so now we have to decide, is there a better solution? What solution could you engineer? So here's step 2. We now get to scope the problem and design solutions. You are going to have 6 minutes to independently do this next task. And it's important that you guys do it. We want we wanted to immerse you in novel engineering so that you feel it as a learner, but then we're going to also go into breakout rooms. So it's going to be important that you share step 2 so that you can see how students may feel when they share this part. So you're going to have to identify the problem you are going to design a solution for. We've heard from 2 problems so far, but you may have others. And so I want you to identify it. I want you to get it down on paper. And then I want you to explain why you chose that problem. Then sketch it out. Sketch out what your solution is. Normally, as you'll hear here in just a little bit, students, after they sketch, they will build their design as you see here in the picture. But today, you're just going to sketch it out. So it's very important that you do these 3 things because you are going to get some feedback on your sketch. Your 6 minutes begins now. All right, guys, let's come on back together. So now that you have scoped your problem and really dug deep to empathize even more to explain why you chose the problem, and then you sketched out your solution, we are now moving to step 3. And step 3 is going to give you the opportunity to get some feedback. And so here's how you're going to do that. You get to test your solution and you're going to talk to your partners or other members in your breakout room by using these sentence stems if you need them. So it may be a good idea to go ahead and take a picture of these sentence stems because you can even use them later with students. But if you are the presenter, you will start with my problem is, to solve my problem I created, here's how it works. So you're gonna go ahead and explain it. Then you will tell them the dilemma that either you're having in your solution, and then you're gonna ask for some additional suggestions. And then the members of your group, here's where you get to push their thinking so that they can even go back and make their solution better. You're always gonna start with the shout out. I like what you did with, and then move to push with have you consider some ideas that you may have, you can share there. You might want to include, you might consider tweaking, perhaps you can expand or repurpose. So you're going to get them to really think. And then as you're getting that feedback, the goal here again, take notes, do what you need to do, because I want you to feel what students will feel. So make sure that you're explaining the presenters and that you're getting some good feedback. You guys are going to have another 6, we'll do 7. We're doing pretty good on time today. We'll do 7 minutes in your breakout rooms and then come back and be ready to share. All right. Enjoy, guys. We'll see you when you get back. Because every step of the way, as you saw today, though we did it really fast, every step of the design cycle requires students to pull from the text. They have to have evidence in order to build their design. So then your role as a teacher, you really play a pivotal role in supporting them. You're asking them those critical thinking skills. You're providing support, an environment that allows them to build on their ideas. Like literally before Wendy shared her idea in our group, Takina was talking about, okay, well, I'm a math teacher, so I'm trying to figure out how this works in math. But then when Wendy, and I was talking to her a little bit about it, but then when Wendy shared her solution, then Takina was like, oh my gosh, I see how math fits perfectly. So that's the same thing you want to do for students. You want to allow them to build on their ideas as they work through those complex problems. And then instead of prescribing a particular solution, which I was able to talk to Tanya about in the beginning, allow students to process through it. Allow them to truly empathize and pick what's a problem for them. Like literally, I'm moving into a house right now with my fiance, and what is a problem for me is, I will tell you, is not any kind of problem for him. but we are learning, just like students will learn, how to solve and create their problems. So you want them doing that. As a teacher, you're always going to be able to find the problem. So if they're not able to arrive at a problem, then that's when you kind of prescribe and guide them towards it, but you don't give it to them. And then design for you as a teacher is really helping students realize that their solution can be real. You really just want to empower them. And so here's how it looks in the classroom. So it's exactly what you just did today, guys. You read a book and you identify the problems. That's step one. That's what we did first. You're going to scope problems and brainstorm the solutions. So that's what we did when I was saying, hey, I just need a brave volunteer to share what problems they found. How is the character currently solving the problem? Is there a better way? So you take students through that. You design a solution. So the students will design their solution. They can work in teams or they can work independently. Then they get feedback like we did today in our breakout rooms, because the feedback will come from you as their teacher, but then also other design teams to make it better. And then you can also give them sentence stem, because that will help guide the conversation. And then lastly, they share. They present to an authentic audience, just as real engineers do in everyday life. I'm so excited for you guys to do this summer with your students. I'm going to hand it back over to Pablo, because now you are going to be able to see how it fits into the curriculum and how they scoped it out for you to do it in more detail with students. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much, AP Hamilton. I think that Mr. Overton had a question.
I do. When it says design a solution, are they literally going to draw something, or can they write something out? Is it designed for them to actually draw, or they just can just say, okay, I will do this, this, and this?
So they will sketch, because the packet that you used today, the students will get. So they will sketch at first like you did, but then as you see in these pictures on this slide, you guys are going to actually get materials for students to build their solution.
So that was my next question, that we are going to be given all these materials, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, got you. Thanks.
I have one more question. So if we're teaching summer school, is this, if you're teaching math, are you still doing this also? Because some of us were math teachers and we were kind of confused.
Just looking.
So you guys are going to have a chance to actually dig through the curriculum here in just a moment. And the team has designed amazing curriculum for the math teachers, and where your activities are aligned to the novel. So you may not read the novel, but your activities are going to be aligned to the characters, to the situations, to those things in the book.
Yeah. And you know what, AP Hamilton, I think that that's a great segue. So before I move forward, everyone, can we just give AP Hamilton some snaps? She brought the energy, the experience, and the background for novel engineering. We are so happy to partner with you. And thank you so much for delivering this portion of the training. It was incredible. And incredible, quick immersive experience too. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so we're going to dig into an overview of the day. Your summer school day will look like this. Your 8 to 4, the content covered is ELAR, math, science, social studies. There will be SEL integration with warm opening, movement break, and optimistic closing. And then there will be some extracurricular activities. And so we will have curriculum available in pre-K through 5 in both English and in Spanish, okay? All of the materials to create the novel engineering design solution will be provided, as well as materials for the science lessons as well. And so what I want you all to do, everything will be housed on this summer school curriculum website. And so I'm going to show you what's happening next. see there's a video for novel engineering here, a sample of the day's lessons, and then there's pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, third through 8th grade. I'm going to go ahead and click on first grade. So in first grade, you'll see that there's a Gen Ed summer school curriculum and a dual language summer school curriculum. And the curriculum is just all the days are linked here in this one document. And in fact, you should actually open the document so you can access all of the materials. You can see that for each portion of the day, when we have a focus and fun activity, we've linked the resources for it. The difference between pre-K2 and the rest of the content or the rest of the grade levels is that RLA and social studies are combined in the novel engineering lessons, whereas third grade and up, social studies has its own separate lesson. And so when you all get into your groups, we weren't able to do grade level groups. So just pick a grade level as a group, and you're going to split into 5. And you're going to decide who's going to look at the warm opening, the movement break, and optimistic closing, who will look at the novel engineering lesson, who will look at the math lessons, science, and social studies lessons. Then you are going to discuss what you noticed across the lessons. I have 2 Jamboards that are going to be in the chat, and you'll have one person add things that you like on the Jamboard and feedback that you have or questions that you may have. It's really important that only one person from your group accesses the Jamboard and acts as the reporter, because only 50 people can access a Jamboard at a time. So we have one set of slides for groups 1 through 40. And then we have a second set of slides through Jamboard for groups 41 through 50. The first set, your slide coincides with your group number, and the second set, just pick a slide that somebody else isn't working on. So again, you're going to split up into at least 5 and decide who's covering all of these pieces. You're going to share with your group and share what you noticed across the lessons, and then you're going to record on the Jamboard. Okay, we are just waiting for a few more of our friends to join us. Pablo, will you let me know when everyone's in, please?
I think we're pretty close.
Okay,
Wait,
okay. My computer has a bit of a lag right now.
I know. It's just, I was telling the group, even in the breakout rooms, they had a lag, but it's 287, so.
Okay. Okay, y'all, thank you so much for digging into the curriculum. Some of the comments that I saw were that you liked the SEL integration. You felt like the lesson plans were clear and laid out. You saw how the lessons connected to each other. And so if you notice, the math lesson used the characters from the story in the novel engineering portion. Social studies supported that, as well as science. And you all liked the ease of use. There were some questions around copies. And so although we will be providing all of the books, and guess what? Every student will get a copy of the book, and they will get to take it home at the end of the summer. So pre-K through 2nd grade, you all will be using, yes, Christina, we're dancing. Pre-K through 2nd, you all will be using Sophia Valdez, Future Prez, and we've purchased English and Spanish copies so that our dual language kiddos get something that's in Spanish. And then our 3rd through 5th grade students will get Rosie Revere and the Raucous Riveteers, and that was also purchased in English and Spanish, and they will get to take that book home. And in 6th through 8th grade, the Magic Misfits. All 6th through 8th grade students will get to take the Magic Misfits home. In addition to the books, all classrooms will receive materials to engage in the novel engineering projects that include, but they aren't limited to, construction paper, popsicle sticks, glue, pipe cleaners, rubber bands, ruler, tape measure, and scissors. So remember what AP Hamilton said? Not only are we sketching it, our students are actually building it. And when we say building it, we mean they are building these materials. So they're engaging in a novel in a way that they probably haven't before. I see that there's some action in the chat. Let me go there. Okay, yay. Okay, people are excited about the books. So we wanted to schedule a little bit of time to plan. And so in your groups, you all are gonna just get maybe like 3 to 4 minutes back in the same groups and think about these questions. What instructional resources do you already have at your disposal? What community programs exist? So remember AP Hamilton said, the most powerful piece of this is presenting to an authentic audience. So maybe there's a community program that you can present to. How will you showcase your students' work? And what have you always wanted to do as a teacher that you could not do in the normal school day that this allows you to do? So we're going to spend 3 to 5 minutes back in our breakout rooms and discuss these questions. Not only are they on the slide, but they're also in your handouts. So we'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back. We're going to quickly close up our section. If we can go to the next slide. So we talked a lot about the opportunity for students to present to an authentic audience. And if you would like your students to present to some of the people on this call, AP Hamilton, just go ahead and sign up right now for some sharing opportunities. And we will reach out to you and provide some Zoom links for your students to share. And again, your students will be able to discuss in this 10-minute opportunity. My problem is to solve my problem I created. Here's how it works, explaining the solution, and the outcome of the novel will be impacted with the solution because. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the 8th grade symposium. All 8th grade students are invited to attend a symposium on June 26th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And during this time, 8th grade is such a pivotal transitional period. We'll be talking about things that we know really matter to our students. Sports and using your voice, designing your own community, creating your own comic book, and who am I, belonging and fitting in. What parts of you do you love and what parts of you do you want to love more? And so it'll be a great opportunity. We're working with Amber Sims and her group, and it will just be fantastic. You'll be getting more information around this soon. And so I am happy to pass it over to our friends on the student activities team, and they're going to discuss the extracurriculars that you saw in the curriculum. So take it over.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Charlotte Hudspeth. I'm the Executive Director of Extracurricular and Extended Learning Opportunities. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for agreeing to teach this summer. We know that this has been such a challenging year. You don't have much of a summer, and to give up another 7 full days is such a commitment, but we really, really appreciate it. We've got some fun things planned. This summer is not like any summer we've ever had. So think of traditional summer school and just pick it up and move it over to the side, because last year and every other year, it's been based on failures, and summer has been SSI and used for promotion and retention criteria. And while that is a consideration, it's not the primary reason that students will be attending this summer. I'm going to go through just a few slides for extracurricular activities that you'll implement in the afternoon. And then I'll share with you a place where you can get some resources and some logistical information around summer. So, extracurricular activities in the afternoon. We have, I don't know how many of you have participated in some of the student activities that the district supports. We have 12 different programs that are supported by the Student Activities Department. Best team ever, by the way. If you've had the privilege of working with them, I know you can verify what I'm saying. Such a great group, and really try to create great, fun, memorable experiences for kids and the coaches that coach them. So this summer, our whole objective is to tap some interest in some students to get them involved. And we hope to get your interest as well. We always need great coaches that want to step up and be there for students. We know that involvement changes the school experience for everybody, for students, for teachers, for the whole climate and culture of your campus. And that's why it was a goal Since 2015, 2016, we had a goal for every student to be involved in at least one extracurricular or co-curricular activity each year. And now it's part of your local accountability system and your school rating. So we thought it would be a great idea to add this to the summer programming offerings. And we chose 4 of our most talked about, most participated in activities. So you're going to have 7 lessons. You'll have a choice to choose 2 of those extracurricular activities. We don't think you'll have time to do all 4. So it might be, depending on what grade you have, what grade band you have, that might be the lesson, the extracurricular activity that you choose to select. Chess by far has the most participation. We have so much demand to add it to kinder. So this is going to be a great opportunity this summer to see how kinder through 2nd grade students do with chess. Right now we have it district-wide 3rd through 12th grade. But what you'll do as the summer learning teacher is you will create a login for them on chesskid.com. You'll have step-by-step instructions that show you exactly what to do with that. You'll also get 10 chessboards and pieces. If your campus is already involved in chess, then you have a lot more chess pieces and chessboards that already exist at your campus. We want them to have both the hands-on opportunity and also the online opportunity. Creative challenges is part of Destination Imagination. And if those of you that have been involved in Destination Imagination, you know that the first part of that is an instant challenge where they work together as a team, and they're given some materials, they had to work together, figure out how to solve the challenge, and then present it. That's what they'll spend their time on for 7 days. They'll have hands-on activity, work together as a team. At the end of that 7 days, they'll present their solution. It'll either be as a skit or they'll have a narrator that will share it with the group. But the main thing that we're working on there is teamwork, which is such a great fit this summer because we know that students have lacked some socialization and working with their peers. So that's a great interactive one to choose. And that really goes all the way up from K through 12th grade for summer cool through 8th grade. Debate is another really popular program teaching creative problem solving skills, organization, speaking. Public speaking is a big part of that. We have it policy debate in 6th through 12th grade, but we are in our 4th year of having elementary debate, 5th grade specifically. And it's really been a great program. Every year we have kids say, I was so shy. I never thought I would stand up in front of all of my class and be able to give a speech and to speak. So 7 days of practicing and debating on a topic that is of interest to kids that age should be really fun. And this is a great one, UIL Academics. There are 23 different UIL competitions for high school students. We're hoping to tap some interest early on in the early grades so that when they get to middle school, they're involved. When they get to high school, they're also involved. Storytelling is a big one. You as the teacher will read a story to them and they will have to talk about what they heard, answer questions based on what they heard, really focusing on listening skills. You think about how do rumors get started, and it's kind of a takeoff on that. But there are different stories for each day and each activity. So that's extracurricular. The other thing I want to talk to you about are the logistics. And supplemental codes, I know, are a big one, a really important one. And you will get those June 14th through the 18th. I've met with a lot of principals at principal meetings the last couple of weeks and office managers. The office manager at your campus that you are serving in will be the timekeeper. You will not, though, if you are part of a standalone camp. There's been some discussion back and forth about what standalone camp is. The high priority campuses will have the summer cool, which is what we've talked about today, the curriculum and the extracurricular activities and all of that. If you have a campus standalone camp, that means your own campus has decided to do something and fund it themselves, like a writing camp for a specific grade level. Those are 2 different things. So if you're working in that, first of all, you didn't have to come to the training, but glad you're here. Second of all, you would get a different code for that, and that would be provided that would be provided by your campus and separate. If you're part of a legislatively mandated summer program, so you're part of the early learning program that the early learning department's putting on, or the English learners or special ed extended year, then the extended learning opportunities office will be the timekeeper for that. So for the majority of you, the office manager at the campus is your timekeeper, and you will be provided a supplemental code. It's really important that you are entered in the summer program application. All of that information has been shared, but that's how you get the correct rate. The rate for professional staff is $31 an hour, $15 for support. All of the materials that Arlena spoke about, we've talked about the novels, those will all be delivered to your campus June 14th through the 18th. Again, that's information that has been shared with office managers and principals. So be on the lookout for those special materials. We also have a lot of great fun things planned. Great incentives in addition to the novel, things that are centered around summer, and all of that will be delivered as well. And we do have some special snacks for those couple of days. So there is a link, a website that you go to get all of that logistical information that I shared. And there's a special part on there that you have to log into on staff in order to be able to see it. There's two ways you can get to it. You can click on that link, or you can go to departments and extended learning opportunities. Over to the left, there's the summer learning 2021, and there's one that says staff login. You can go to that, or you could also just go to dallasisd.org/summer learning staff. When you get there, you've got a whole list of resources. The first one is for principals. So I think there was an administrator on here that said, what is there a special training? This is the site you need to go to. The summer program application is where staff members' names are entered. This is really important because there is a teacher commitment form here. Those of you that have filled this out, some principals said, can we just have a form so I know who's interested? And it was explained, yes, that can be your form where you take that form and then you get the ID number and you go to the summer program application. Those are, if you click on that link, it's a step-by-step of how to walk through that process. But you have to be entered in that in order to get the correct pay rate. The form goes nowhere. That's just for internal communication only between you and the principal so that they know the ID number, they know the people that they're entering. The link to the curriculum, that website that we shared earlier, that's here too. The Zoom links for today, which no good after today, we've already done all that. There is information for CRCs, data controllers, registrars, and counselors on how to enter. Everything will be through PowerSchool, and there will be pass-fail grades and attendance taken one time a day. There is, in this campus guide, getting ready for summer school, there is a video there that helps you with the steps on how to do the grades in PowerSchool for pass-fail. There are invitations for students. So this is the one, the English version. Your child has been invited. This is much different than what's been done in the past, because in the past it was your child did not meet the minimum requirements for blah, 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 blah. We've really tried to make it a more of a fun, this is a camp, this is enrichment. Yes, academics are a big part of it, but we also want them to get reconnected with their school, and we want them to feel good and optimistic about coming back in the fall. There is a QR code at the bottom that you can scan there, and the counselor and principal will have access to see what those responses have been, to know how many students that you have. There's the Spanish version of that. There's also some quick overviews by level. The first part goes over whatever programs exist at that level. Again, the summer cool camps, 82 campuses, 61 of those are elementary, and the other 21 are middle schools. Selection, the criteria, again, it can be based on failures, or it could be based on poor attendance, or it could just be based on a student that you feel would really benefit by being around their peers and getting some social interaction. It's really, you invite, your campus invites who you feel will benefit most from attending. Again, this is a video that walks counselors through how to enter the information in PowerSchool, pass fail grades, attendance taken one time a day. Transportation is provided even within the 2-mile radius, and those routes will come out June 14th, if not before. That information can be found on the district website under transportation. The staffing and compensation goes back to what I said on that very first link, the summer program application. That is that same information just linked on this document, walking you through step by step of how to enter the information on the summer program application, your ID number to make sure you get $31 an hour rate. We will have a makeup professional development session the week of the 14th through the 18th. That date has not been set. We've talked about it briefly on here today. It'll probably be a webinar. So if you have any colleagues that have missed out on this training, then be sure to let them know that stay tuned. There will be some additional dates, an additional date, let me clarify, and it will be posted on this under resources. So check back to this periodically for new information. There are some district-wide, mostly legislative, and some enrichment programs that are occurring and being directed by departments. They have direct contact people that can give you a lot more information on the specifics of the program. These are their contact, their email addresses and the person's name. Feel free to reach out to them if you have any additional questions on that. I want to go briefly over the enrollment and staffing projections. So back to the 82 campuses. We looked at the high priority campuses and knew that that's where we really wanted to focus summer, but we also know that we needed to provide summer learning opportunities for all students. So the host sites primarily are the high priority campuses, with some exceptions. Some areas they just had way too many students piling into one school. So we opened up some additional sites. To get the projected enrollment and projected staff, we took 30% of your total enrollment from April the 11th. And if you're a host site, we estimated that 30% of your students would likely go for those 7 days to their home campus. For those sites that feed into the hub campus, we said 20%. So that number under projected enrollment is the combination of the 30% from the host site and the 20% from the feeding site. That's that total number. That number is an estimate. It is not what what you have to have in order to say this summer has been successful. So if you're projected to have 110 and you have 50, there's not like anything that's just not terrible. That's just a number that we're working from for budgeting reasons and for purchasing materials and for staffing. The staffing projection, the ratio is 1 to 15. So that is simply just whatever that projected enrollment is divided by that ratio. The dates of June 4th through the 10th is when we will really look at enrollment, and that's when we will complete leveling for teachers. So if you have an estimated number of teachers at 8 and 110 kids enrolled, we'll look at the numbers on June 11th. And if you have that amount, then we're good to go. If you need more teachers, then we need to go back out. You've got more students than you have teachers, then we need to add some more teachers to that. Or if you have very few students enrolled and you have way too many teachers, the principal will make the decision and talk to everybody and figure out who is going to work and who gets an extra 7 days off. What won't happen though, is whatever happens after the 11th, let's say that you have 120 that are registered, you have all your teachers lined up, and then we get to June 22nd and only 80 kids show up. We won't send any teachers home at that point. You've made a commitment and we're committed to you to fulfill that commitment. So the dates between June 4th and the 10th are really important because that's when we'll level. So if you know that kids aren't turning in their enrollment, or you know that your counselor may not have entered everybody in, that's the day you really want to get and promote. We really want you to attend. It's going to be a great opportunity. You're going to get fun incentives. You're going to have great learning. It's not just regular school. We're going to have a great time, because after that, we will make some adjustments based on who's enrolled and who can work. There's another document. This is part of the summer learning guide that's out there that just says, if I'm at this school, then this is the place I go for summer learning, for summer cool camp. Again, summer cool and a campus standalone are two separate things. Summer cool is the district, what used to be considered summer school. A standalone camp is your own campus, creating your own summer school, using your own curriculum and your own design and your own teachers and your own money. Different things there. And then there is the final thing I want to show you is the summer learning guide. And it is basically an overview for parents so that they can see what is available this summer. Let's see. Well, that wasn't good here. Okay. So it walks them through, these are the opportunities that we have available. We've also got some City of Learning with the City of Dallas, that there are some free opportunities. So if there are other, maybe they're not involved in this or they need some additional programming for the summer, that's a place that parents can go to see that. There's a breakdown of the schedule that we talked about earlier. Again, that same document that talks, that walks them through, if this is my current campus, this is where my summer cool site is. Again, Dallas City of Learning. We do have some fine arts enrichment opportunities that are virtual. We also have something new, the Project Read Live, that is supposed to be really great, that the Visual and Performing Arts Department is sponsoring this summer. And it's a preview of some things they'll do in the fall. The legislatively mandated for high school, we've got credit recovery. Most of that is virtual through Reconnection, but we do have a couple of sites that have it in person. They'll also have end of course testing. And then we've got the athletic department putting on some athletic camps as well. As part of mitigating learning loss, we are looking at redesigning summer. And this is a great opportunity this summer to really kind of check and see, is this a direction we want to go in? So we definitely want your feedback. I think that Pablo, I don't know if he shared it tonight, but it's about how to share what you're doing with photos and the place to share. We would love to see some interaction with you and your students. Share all that with the hub, post it on our website, and really get a lot of feedback from you to find out if this is a direction that we want to go in, what you would change about it, what you liked about it. So again, that's all I got. I just wanted to thank you again for committing to this. We really, really appreciate it. We know that this is not probably an easy decision to take on an additional 7 days. Some of you are part of intercession and school day redesign, and you'll be coming back like in a flash, in a blink of an eye. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Go to that site, that summer learning staff, for additional information periodically.